Hey community, it's Amanda Flood here, and I can't wait to talk to you today, sis, right? Like, we're about to get into a conversation that I think we all need, right? And we're going to look at something that's going to just elevate your professional game and really help you from a place of confidence and looking at that from the outside in, right? I find that things like affirmations are awesome for us, and it's incredibly powerful. And I think even as like professionals, dope women that are just brilliant in our space, we really know our craft, we can struggle with confidence, right? Being a pro in your field is not just about the skills, it's about believing in yourself. And sometimes that doesn't align. Like, we've come all this way, we've gained all this knowledge, but when it comes to us showing up, and especially showing up for ourselves and doing the things that we want to do for us, all of a sudden it's like all that experience, expertise, the like education goes out the window with like a deer in headlights. Right? But today I want to drop at least like 3 things to help us out. And I think it's gonna really make sense for you. And I'm coming from this space of you showing up and you leveraging your skills and expertise. So this conversation is really for the women that want to put themselves out there, that really realize that their gifts, their expertise, and their purpose is calling. So let's get into boosting your visibility, dominating your niche, and conquering that doubt, because there's no space for it here. So let's buckle up, honey, and get started. Yeah. All right. So what do we kick it off with? Let's start with how we think. Let's get real about that for a moment. We've all had like those nagging kind of thoughts that make us doubt ourselves. And y'all know the ones, the ones that are like, I'm not good enough. Girl, you're too tired. Can you really do this? Like, those are limiting beliefs. And they're like little confidence vampires. They just like suck the life out the atmosphere, right? And they take away your potential. And it's not that that potential isn't there, honey. It just creates a lie, right? I think these beliefs set us up to second guess ourselves, but it's just not true, and the antidote for that is knowing that you can take back that confidence. You can take back that thing that the doubt tries to take away from you. But how do we do that? So we got to figure out how to identify those limiting beliefs first, right? And I want you to know how to do that. So how do you spot those sneaky limiting beliefs? It's kind of like, when you got that little treasure thing and you're at the beach and it's like beep, 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 and it's digging for gold. That's what finding the negative beliefs are, or that's what the experience of it is, right? When we search for those negative thoughts, the unhelpful ones, and we know it because it just changes like our whole atmosphere. It changes like our whole way of being, right? So I'm going to need you to be a really good detective in your own mind. And how do you do that? Well, girl, I just want you to ask yourself a couple questions. Like, when you feel that resistance, get in there with it and figure out what's happening. Ask yourself, like, what is holding me back right now? What is really going on? Why am I hesitating to take this step? Right? So when you find those thoughts red-handed, I want you to know that you are on track, right? I like to say it's like alarm bells going off for you. It's signaling that beneath the surface, like when that machine starts beeping for gold, there's something valuable buried there. And that thought is the alarm to let you know to keep on digging, honey, because you are really close, right? So use those questions to get to the core of what needs to be addressed so that you can get to that thing that you really need to work on, that really needs to happen for you in your life. So we can get you out of that place of stagnation and into that place of action. Okay. All right. Let's go. Now, here comes the superhero of this story, honey. Affirmations. Okay. These are like your personal cheerleaders, and they tell you that you're amazing, that you can conquer anything, that success is your middle name. Affirmations, my God, they're like your secret weapon against those limiting beliefs. And what I love about it, even as I'm saying it to you, what I imagine is somebody speaking over you, and maybe in a way that you've always needed, and maybe in the way that you've always wanted, and it wasn't there. Maybe people have said things to you that really took away that joy and that took away that potential. And what you hear and what you respond to is even their voice, maybe their fears, maybe their worries and their limits that they impose on you. So I think when you get comfortable both recognizing that and finding the antidote to that, which is, what is it I'm going to say to myself instead to get me out of this place, to shift the atmosphere for me, to loosen up the places that I'm stuck in, that I'm bound in. Let me find that word, because within that is going to be the power to move you, right? And after a while, the more that you say it, the more that it's going to happen for you. Because the reason why you got like crippled and disabled in the first place is because they kept saying those things over your life, right? That you will never amount to nothing, right? That no, like you don't need to do that. Like, you're fine right here at home. And sometimes it it comes from a place of good intention, right? Maybe from their own experiences, this is what they thought was okay for you. This was the scope, as far as they went, is all that they could give you. They didn't have the words to tell you about how much further you could go. They were worried about what was beyond their own limits. Out of their own fears, they created this like box and boundary for you. But sis, you are bigger than a box and a boundary. Okay. So I want you to use the affirmations to start speaking over that box and disrupting the boundary. Listen, I don't know who came for me today. Or who I'm coming for today, because I wasn't even planning on all of this. I was just like, listen, let me go get this done. Let me record this episode because I needed to drop. Because I want to give my people that do get into the affirmations, I want to give them something extra. I want them to understand how to really use the affirmations and to understand the power behind it, which is really the power behind their words, right? And then I'm down this road with you. Okay. All right, cool. So we might as well keep going. So we've talked about finding the belief, noticing that shift within yourself, right? We've talked about the power of your word and the power of the affirmation. So now let's look at, how do we bring this all in? How do we bring this home, honey? I want you to really incorporate the affirmations into your life. And how do you do that? Really simple. Make it a part of your everyday routine. It should be like brushing your teeth in the morning, right? Speak that word for confidence in the morning. Sneak it somewhere in there. When I make that coffee and I'm sitting there, I'm making my tea, I'm going to have that affirmation up and I'm going to read that. And I'm going to let that brew in my mind and brew in my body until I embody that. On the way to work, while I'm commuting, think about, where can I strategically place these things so that I can see it, remember it, and repeat it? Do I need to even record it myself, right? So now I can play my own voice, which I think is even more powerful, because really, again, a lot of us, we are responding to the voices of others in our head. Like their voices are louder in our mind than our own. And that could be the voice of a family member. That could be a voice of like a perpetrator in our life. That could be the voice of somebody that just hurt us in a way that it keeps us, again, stuck and stagnant. So you need to correct that voice. So maybe that voice needs to be my own. And I'm going to record my affirmations. I'm going to record me saying to myself the things that I need to desperately hear or powerfully hear, because we're not operating from a place of desperation. We're operating from a place of power. Does that make sense? I wish I were here to tell me if this makes sense, because I know it makes a whole lot of sense to me, and it's just resonating deeply. And I think more than I imagine. Like this conversation, I think, is more than I imagine. Okay, so when I think about my affirmations, I'm capable and competent. Whew. When I think of challenge in the space of like, am I enough? right? That might generate the fears for me, that make it difficult for me to take risk and to really work on my goals or to really put myself out there. I can instead find something to affirm myself with, because that's what this is, replacing that negative, the not so good, and affirming yourself in a new way. I can affirm myself and say, I am more than enough. My skills, knowledge, and uniqueness empower me to achieve success, empower me to achieve greatness. Do you feel that? Allow that to resonate with you. Okay, that was just 2 examples from the affirmation pack. So you have that there. So you don't even have to do the work to figure it out. You can go through that list of them. I think I did like 30 of them, and you can find what really resonates with you, fit it into that routine of yours, and continue to let it sink in, let it marinate, okay, until it gets to like that, ooh, delicious flavor, honey. Okay. And once you've done that for a while, then you get to recognize the changes. Okay, this is really the fun part. I want you to watch those affirmations start working their magic in your life. When you catch yourself like showing up for that presentation, like, yes, or confidently taking on a challenge, maybe going live, maybe finally speaking about your gifts and expertise, maybe speaking up at the table at work, maybe speaking up in a relationship and voicing your concerns because you know that there's power in your voice. Okay, that's you. And that's that affirmation flexing. That's the affirmation flexing its muscles. And you know what happens the more you work a muscle, it's the stronger that it gets. All right, so it becomes like your own personal success story unfolding in front of your eyes as you see the little places where the shifts start to happen and the confidence starts to show up instead of the doubt, instead of the fear, instead of the resistance, instead of the procrastination. I think all of that is a symptom of the fear and the doubt. Even the perfectionism, because we can let it go a little bit, because we can be confident in our work and confident in knowing that what I have is enough. Who I am is enough. Okay. So before we wrap, I want to invite you guys to something very, very special. And this is important to me. It's our accountability and mastermind group. Everything I do is special. Everything I do is curated with intention. Right. But why I love the mastermind, especially for those of you that came into this, because I want to work on my confidence and in a way that I can show up again and show out in my expertise and my gifts. And I want to leverage my skills. I want to grow my business. I want to start a business. I want to start a business as a speaker. I want to start a business as, my own practice. I want to start a business just as like a healer and helping people, empowering women. I want to grow whatever it is that I've started, but I know that I need to work from that place of confidence. And I know part of that is being consistent. Just like I'm asking you to be consistent in affirming yourself, you need to be consistent with affirming your goals and taking the steps to get you there, to get you to that place of fruition, honey, right? So our mastermind is a great space for that. It's a space where we support each other, where we grow together. I get to coach you in that space, and we really hold ourselves and each other accountable to our goals. It's like having a tribe of like fierce warriors, like the Woman King, right? They're by your side, and we're willing to go that distance with you because you've committed to do it yourself. So I want to invite you to that. I think that's a great place to continue this confidence journey, especially as women of color entrepreneurs. We need our own spaces. We need to be around people that can dream bigger than us and that can see past the box and the barriers. Okay. So I do want to invite you to that. And of course, along the way, we always have great things planned, depending on when you listen to this. We're either planning Purpose House retreat or it's coming up. We may be planning our next retreat, but whatever it is, I invite you into that space too. It's a great way to just kind of work on everything that you've been putting off, right? Or maybe that one specific thing that you haven't been able to lean into because of your fears. Bring it into the retreat space. Allow us to pour into you. Yes, have a great time, fun time, connect, see some great things, eat some good food, honey, but allow us to work on you too. Give yourself permission to do the work to grow, right? And that's what happens in our retreat spaces. And I feel like the mastermind is just an extension of that work where we get to continue it. Okay. All right. So there you have it, my friends. I gave y'all all the goods. Okay. So confidence for us, man, it's not a luxury. It's a necessity for our success. And with affirmations in your arsenal, sis, you're unstoppable. You know why? Because you understand that your words have power and your words are powerful and that you're getting in the habit of activating it. Okay, so if you have not found the affirmation that works for you, go through it. If you need some help, let me know. If you have a particular situation that you need an affirmation around, let me know. Let's figure that out together, because I want you to take action today and figure out, as of tomorrow, as of now, this is going to be my word, honey. And I'm going to put it here so I can see it every day and I'm remembering to rock with it, honey. And I'm going to put it here so I can remember it too, because I know the more that I say it, the more that I do it, the more that it activates something in me. Okay. And I'm excited just thinking about that. I'm excited about that for you. Okay. So again, if you haven't already, find that affirmation, tap into the confidence affirmation deck and see what works for you. Maybe consider joining us on the mastermind to continue the work towards your goal, your purpose, and your gifts. And certainly come hang out with us at the retreat if you just need a little bit of escape and sisterhood and you just need to rest but grow and push. Girl, come to the retreat. But in the meantime, I'm Amanda Flood. I'm a licensed therapist, but I also operate as a coach because there's so many places and spaces that we just need some guidance through. And I love to do that, especially for women of color, especially around our goals and helping us to show up for ourselves and our businesses and to be more visible and present, especially on social media, which can be very fear provoking, right? But if we can get you to show up, we can get the next person to grow from your gifts. Because think about that. Who does not get to benefit from me when I don't show up? If I did not come here today, there's so many of you that would not have received this, right? So I hope that you have received it. And I hope that it'll be like a domino effect, because now you're going to show up and share what you need to share so the next woman could get it too. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you just rocking with me today and getting this with me today. And I cannot wait for us to talk again and for me to just hear how much or how big of a difference just a confidence deck maybe was for you. And hopefully we can work together in some other spaces as well. Such a pleasure. Thank you, sis. Take care.